Albert Einstein, physicist. Albert Einstein was brought into the world at Ulm, in Württemberg, Germany, on March 14, 1879. A month and a half later the family moved to Munich, where he in no time started his tutoring at the Luitpold Gymnasium. Afterward, they moved to Italy and Albert proceeded with his schooling at Aarau, Switzerland, and in 1896 he entered Land Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich to be prepared as a teacher in physical science and number crunching. In 1901, the year he acquired his certificate, he gained Swiss citizenship and, as he couldn't show up out a showing post, he acknowledged an edge as specialized right-hand inside country department. In 1905 he acquired his PCP certification. During his domiciliate at the organization, and in his extra time, he created quite a bit of his momentous work, and in 1908 he was selected private dozent in Bern. In 1909 he became professor extraordinary at Zurich. In 1911 professor of theoretical physics at Prague, getting back to Zurich inside the ensuing year to fill a comparative post. In 1914 he was named director of the Kaiser Physical Institute and professor inside the University of Berlin. He turned into a German resident in 1914 and stayed in Berlin until 1933 when he repudiated his citizenship for political reasons and emigrated to America to require the place of professor of theoretical physics at Princeton. He turned into a U.S. resident in 1940 and resigned from his post in 1945. After fighting too, Einstein was assortment one figure inside the world government movement. He was offered the presidency of the State of Israel, which he declined, and he teamed up with Dr. Chaim Azriel Weizmann in laying out the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Einstein generally looked as though it'd have a straightforward perspective on the issues of material science, subsequently the assurance to determine them. He had some method of his own and had the option to picture the preeminent stages on the thanks to his objective. He viewed his significant accomplishments as simple venturing stones for the ensuing development. Toward the start of his logical work, Einstein understood the insufficiencies of mechanics, and his extraordinary hypothesis of relativity originated from a preliminary to accommodate the laws of mechanics with the laws of the electromagnetic field. He limited traditional issues of material science and issues during which they were converged with quantum hypothesis. This prompted an indication of the development of particles. He explored the warm properties of daylight within espresso radiation thickness, and his perceptions laid the motivation of the photon hypothesis of daylight. In his period in Berlin, Einstein hypothesized that the right understanding of the exceptional hypothesis of relativity should likewise outfit a hypothesis of attraction, and in 1916 he distributed his paper on the final word hypothesis of relativity. During now he additionally added to the issues of the hypothesis of radiation and material science. Inside the 1920s, Einstein started the occasion of bound-together field hypotheses. In spite of the fact that he kept on figuring on the probabilistic translation of hypothesis, and he persisted with this at America. He added to material science by his improvement of the hypothesis of a monatomic gas, and he has likewise achieved important add significance nuclear progress probabilities and relativistic cosmology. After his retirement he kept on figuring towards the unification of the fundamental ideas of physical science, adopting the other strategy, geometrization, to the majority of physicists. Einstein's explorers are, obviously, all around chronicled, and his more significant works incorporate special theory of relativity, 1905, relativity, English interpretations, 1920 and 1950, general theory of relativity, 1916, investigations on theory of development, 1926. And furthermore the evolution of physics, 1938. Among his non-logical works, About Zionism, 1930, Why War? 1933, My Philosophy, 1934, and Out of My Later Years, 1950, are maybe the premier significant. Einstein got privileged doctorate certifications in science, medication and reasoning from numerous European and American colleges. During the 1920s he addressed in Europe, America and furthermore the area, and he was granted fellowships or memberships of the multitude of driving logical foundations all through the globe. He earned various honors in respect of his work, including the Copley Medal of the Foundation of London in 1925, and furthermore the Franklin Medal of the Franklin Institute in 1935. Einstein's gifts unavoidably brought about his residence much in scholarly isolation and, for unwinding, music had a terribly significant impact in his life. He wedded Mileva Maric in 1903, which that they a girl and 2 children. Their marriage was broken down in 1919, and inside the indistinguishable year he wedded his cousin, Elsa Löwenthal, who passed on in 1936. He kicked the bucket on April 18, 1955 at Princeton, New Jersey.